I'm Jennifer Mandelbaum. I'm a second-year PhD student in Health Promotion, Education, and Behavior, and I serve as the Vice President of the Graduate Student Association. And I'm excited to be here for Carolina Leadership Week along with these other student leaders.
Hello, hi, my name is Cofie, and I am a second-year PhD student in the Health Services Policy and Management Department at the Arnold School of Public Health. I am the Secretary of Health for GSA and also the Treasurer for PANASA.
Hello, my name is Tony Brown. I'm the Treasurer for GSA, and I'm a third-year PhD student in Health Services Policy and Management.
All right, great. We're really excited to have Jennifer, Anna, and Tony here with us today, three of many graduate student leaders here on campus. So let's get started with, what do you think is leadership? So what is leadership? Let's start with you, Tony.
Okay. Well, for me, leadership is definitely being a master collaborator. It's being part of listening, part of giving ideas, and being able to take ideas from there and kind of making something great, basically. So that's like my watered down version of a leader, but I think that's the best way to keep everybody kind of friendly in the same situation. Everybody has a voice in the group that you're working with.
How about you, Anna? What is leadership to you?
For me, leadership is being able to be servant. So, being able to understand people in different situations, being able to work in a team, being able to take and give advice. But most importantly, a leader for me is somebody who could rise in every occasion, learning to work with people that you're not so comfortable with, because in a real world, like, that's what it is. And also, leadership for me is, being able to help others and also work with people. I think that's the main thing, is being servant, allowing people to lead and you being able to follow, but you still being a leader, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, Jennifer, how about you? What is leadership to you?
To me, leadership is all about taking initiative and also understanding your skill set and how you can apply the skills you have to wherever they're needed. So maybe you have a lot of great graphic design skills and you volunteer to redesign the logo for a student organization you're part of. I don't necessarily think you have to occupy one of those traditional leadership roles like being the president of a student group in order to contribute and be a leader.
Those are great characteristics of leaders that you've mentioned, including being a master collaborator, being a servant leader, and filling in where you need to fit in, and really matching up your skills with those opportunities. Those are all great examples of leadership. Well, I'm interested in knowing, who is one leader you admire? Who is one leader you admire? And if you can't think of just one, you can name more than one. We'll start with you, Anna. Who is a leader you admire?
For me, I would say two, Nelson Mandela and Cofie Annan. And Cofie Annan is because I'm Ghanaian, so it's easier for you to relate to someone who is just as close to you. And I'm also interested in health, and he's amazing in terms of that. Reason being that in terms of like Nelson Mandela, he was able to thrive in sort of kind of like different circumstances, hard circumstances. He was able to, come from jail to being a president of South Africa, and through racism and apartheid, he was still able to sort of kind of like rise up to the occasion. For someone like Cofie Annan, I respect him a lot because he came from Ghana, Switzerland. He's a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and all those are amazing, and that's something that I aspire to be in the future.
Excellent. Those are two great choices. How about you, Tony? Who's a leader you admire?
Well, I guess a little bit closer to home for me, I can really say my mom. She is a true hero and a true leader in my life, because we've gone through a lot, and my mom was sick for me in a very early age, and she stopped working because she was disabled completely when I was 11. And so throughout these years, she's continued to lead our family and, push me off to school and push me off to betterment. And so she taught me really what it was to have that drive, to have that goals, and to basically keep pressing forward. So she's one of the best and the biggest leaders in my life, and it means so much to me.
Excellent. Perseverance is certainly an important characteristic of a leader, so your mom is a great example of that. How about you, Jennifer? Who would you say is a leader that you admire?
So I really admire Sheryl Sandberg, who's the Chief Operating Officer of Facebook. And what I admire about her is really how she's using her platform, which is a pretty powerful one, to help women develop their leadership skills and take on leadership roles. And I certainly think there are structural factors that need to be addressed to make those leadership positions a little more gender equitable, but I also really appreciate how she talks about the ways that women especially can kind of step up and lean into these leadership positions and not be afraid or discouraged to reach for those higher roles.
Great. These are all great examples. Now, if I asked you to name a leader at the University of South Carolina, who is a leader here at USC whom you admire? Anybody can go first.
So for me, automatically I just think of Dr. Pastides, and that's because he used to be the Dean of the Honor School of Public Health, which I am a student of, and throughout my role in GSA, he's been very active, he's been very supportive. He's a very present president, you know, with getting just random emails, and he's always, you know, like, what's going on? I could be there. Even when you see him down the street, he could talk to you. So I like the fact that he doesn't belittle you. He doesn't make you feel like he's the president. He's just, I don't know, it's just an aura about him that I appreciate. So.
What about you guys? Who's a leader at USC whom you admire?
So I really admire Dr. Kelly White in the Department of Epidemiology and Biostatistics. I've had the pleasure of serving alongside her as co-chairs of the Advisory Committee on Professional Development for Graduate Students. And what I really appreciate and admire about Dr. White is how she's not the most boisterous person in the room, but when she does speak, people listen because what she says is extremely thoughtful and usually pretty impactful. So I think that just goes to show that you don't have to be the loudest or most aggressive speaker in order to really make an impact.
How about you, Tony?
I think one of my favorites is Dr. Sandra Glover. She used to be the chair of the HISPOM department, and she still is the graduate director. She just does so much. And talking about a master collaborator, she definitely is amazing in that sense. And she's also just someone who's always talking about new ideas and everything. And before I got into the PhD program, I met with her, and she just gave me great advice, and she was saying about what I could do and opening doors in my mind that I didn't even think possible. So I really appreciated her being that in my life. So she's definitely a great leader at USC.
All right, well, thank you, Tony and Anna, for joining me for this video. We're so excited to be here for Carolina Leadership Week and to share just a few of our stories from representatives of the GSA. We know there are a lot of very involved students on campus, and we really appreciate all the work that you do.